Ahoy. Oh, it's sea salt in it. Well, I've got no title today or now. So I'm just going to look and see where we go. I've got invite friends. Oh no, a few people have joined. Oh, that's good. So not as more. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I know that Facebook actually do that. They send out a message to folk. I'm looking for messages. I had many people trying to contact me, but I just, couldn't respond to them all. And I've put this out in the previous videos that if it's just something short and quick, you can do it through the comment box, urgent or whatever. Because what happens is if you've got about 8 or 10 people trying to speak to you, it just gets ridiculous. The whole of your screen is taken up with all this stuff and whatever. I do try and video talk to people. That's not always successful as well. There you go. So I've got someone coming in, but I'm going to have to decline because obviously if I do get, let's just do that. That's the easy way. Yeah. You can still hear me, but any sound comes in, the phone ringing, right? People obviously very off-putting. 4 comments. Let's have a look. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. Can't understand that language. I only really read English, so I'm not multilingualist. So whatever. So if you ask me anything in another language, right, I think we settled down. That's right, there's about 8 of us. I've got this invite friends, but I think that the Facebook service is very good. So I should just skip down a few people, but that doesn't matter. I've nearly got 3,000 friends on here now. So, whatever. So just bear with us. I'm just going to try. It's an experiment like all these things. Yeah, you don't get... Obviously, they can't let all 3,000 people. It'd be ridiculous. But it's a good facility. Again, so if you particularly wanted to share this, although it isn't just a personal thing, but you wanted them to actually get on, that's it. So I've done my thing. Right. I've listened to some music. 4-Way Street, which I incorporated into the title of a previous video, and it was from the very famous song, well, I know it as Carry On, but the chorus is Love is Coming to Us All. But if you ever want to check out some what I call really tight music that is empowered, carries the energy of the spirit, I would recommend that particular LP. It's Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, 4-Way Street, live. I think there's a studio version with the same title. And you can watch it because it'd be on video, so you don't have to buy it. And that's even better yet. If you watch the video that was made of Carry On from 4-Way Street, because it was, the live version is recorded at a festival. So everything on there, you can hear the audience, and it is but obviously there's a studio version as well. But the version of the Carry On that I think is excellent is well over nearly 15 minutes long. So that's enough about it. But that's my way of bringing me into the here and now. I've shared about that. You just talk about what you've just been doing. And then if the Spirit comes in, you'll go wherever you're led and wherever you might want to go. And you learn this just by doing it. If it is one of your callings, okay, not everybody is called to actually minister to people, right? And I've done a video all about that, how in 1988 I took ministries to ministries. And in that, this is within the Jesus Fellowship Baptist Church. And within that ceremony, various prophesied, if you like, ministries were given. There's things that I hadn't already moved in, although there was quite a few of them, but things in the future. And now I feel that those things are starting to be fulfilled, and I am starting to move in those ministries. Now, I've been told that I've become a leader of men's hearts. And it's done allegorically and pictorial, this sort of stuff. So people just be impressed with like a movie, a picture of you. For instance, a person said, quote, "I see you running down with joy, filled with joy, and lots of men following you." I see a prophetic word was given in connection that you will be a shepherd heart, meaning you look after and watch over other people on the path. That's how I've interpreted it. It's not just people in your church. If you move out into what I call planetary, hi, Ocean, I see it done it then. But anyway, a little better. You can actually do one of these, little like things, and a small photograph of yourself will come up. So actually, no. So I'm not just getting hearts, thumbs up symbols, right? If you've ever done this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can do that to a live broadcast. You have the opportunity to give live, or some of you know, because you've been doing it, feedback. But sometimes I've noticed that the feedback actually incorporates a small photograph of the person. Oh, they're going now, right now. You get thumbs up, you get some frowny faces because someone's not happy, thumbs up. And of course, the heart, little red heart. There you go. You can't see that. But sometimes, and it's not me hallucinating it, right? That little icon is actually a face. And you can recognize. Maybe it's after they've done it a few times. I'll have to chat with Facebook about that. Not as if it's really important. But I'm just really praising that I believe YouTube has a similar facility, but this is really good, very quick, because obviously they want to broadcast it live. So it's probably only a 10 or 12 second, even if that gap. So I start this, 10 seconds later, it's actually being broadcast because it's been processed a bit and whatever. And it tunes into your camera, it's very safe. You ask for permission for them to do that, but then no one else can say it's you. Also, they know it's you because you have what you call your IP address. So they know exactly who you are and obviously whatever. That can happen. I mean, you might also have, well, I won't sue, a common name. I mean, Clark is quite a common name. But it soon will be changed to Lifebringer. I shared that actually in this morning video, I got out my deed poll name form. Beautiful bit of paper, but it's expensive. It's got a seal impregnated on it. One little slight, nearly a glass went in. I was talking in the video this morning about the emblem of the lion and the unicorn, because I was referring to an Alice A. Bailey channeled book, Destiny of the Nations. And that is generally the emblem of England, a lion and a unicorn. But having looked closer, this particular gold impregnated stamp is actually two lions. But I don't think anyone would have picked that up because it's the same sort of shape. Animal stood one side, stood another. But anyway. Okay. Well, I'm beginning to feel very uplifted. Now, I know there's a lot of things cracking off weather-wise. Apparently there's a big fire or fires in California. Right? That's going to shake a few people up because a lot of very wealthy people live in California. And we suddenly the lesson that, material wealth isn't going to help you. Okay? And the, what be the word? Well, I said, don't put your trust in things like that. It can be taken away in the blinking of an eye. Material possessions, big house, fire comes along. Boom. Although obviously these people hopefully, they're insured. So I haven't looked at the news though today. Again, see, I'm flying in the wind. I've got nothing, no connection at all. Sonny just haven't done that today. Been busy on Facebook, I must admit, trying to answer people, acknowledging friend requests, okay? And I had to stop because obviously everything in moderation, and one's got to live and cook food. Loads of hearts coming up, so whatever. And I've got a couple of new. I'm going to try this invite friends again. It's not a time. Yeah, I don't normally come on this time. I could invite. Yeah, no harm. Actually, it is quite a lot. You hear me? I'm going right down the list. Done. Yeah. So, it's not so much there's nothing there, because there is. It's just, it just feels so different. I feel far more relaxed, not so tense. It's like on a subconscious level. I see it's starting to flow now. You can sense things of what's going on the subconscious level of other people. And Carl Gustav Jung used to call this, which it is, the collective unconscious. There can come a time or an experience you can pass through, but luckily you do. This is where, in my understanding, how paranoia can happen. Because you can actually sense on the subconscious level what people are thinking or what's being impressed on them through their angelic helpers, right? But if you take these impressions too much to heart, you can end up going into paranoia. Everybody's talking about me, as an example. It's more everybody's thinking about me. Or a common one is everybody knows who I am, meaning I'm someone that goes on Facebook and you become famous. Very dodgy one. But I don't think that. You see, I'm very calm, very centered. So I pass through that possibility of that happening to me. People like me, that can be, well, that's it. That is, how can I put it, how schizophrenia, which again is the tendency to go into psychosis, and this can be manic depression, many psychiatric labels, but if you're prone, as I see it, I don't like the term psychosis, but obviously it's used by the medical profession, that this can be quite a regular occurrence. But obviously you grow and you come to a place where you're totally okay with who you are, because it's actually who you are. And that paranoia is not a state that you often now enter into. It's a very minimal experience, and you can nip it in the bud because you recognize what's happening. The meditation I've been doing, as far as one can say, has certainly helped. So I shall give that a plug. Yeah, that's something inspired. This piece of equipment, which a friend did ask me about, is called Muse, and you'll see it online. Muse, you can read it, and it's a headband, and you put it on like this, and it's got a sensors, you can see them, and they actually do pick up the activity of your brain. And you have some headphones that are going to whether it's your mobile phone, iPad, and you can download the software free. And then you've got a dynamic biofeedback system that can help you to meditate. So you just use the mindfulness approach, right? Which is just monitoring your breath. You close your eyes, you set them down, and you're just monitoring your breath. It's not a yogic thing where you're deliberately expanding or accentuating your breath, and this sort of thing, which is a yogic practice. This is just watching your breath, and you have a soundscape that comes with the software. It's got 3 or 4 actually what they call different soundscapes, and the one I like is the sea. Very soothing sound, and a sound, if you've lived near the sea, which I have, that can really calm you down. I, for instance, lived on a beach in Crete, and my daily practice was to get up, wash, comb my hair, and long hair then right over my face, and I'd just sit cross-legged. I could do that, can't do that, it's easy now, I've got a bit of plump sort of posture, and I would meditate with the sun, and it would be drying my hair, right? And it was seawater as well. I didn't have any mirrors, like I said, I was just living on this beach. And I've said often to myself, I'd go back there. Why? Now, this is similar, funny enough, to what I've shared to about Thailand. The land or the beach was owned by a monastery, and the local people used to come to buy, right? It was their place they'd go at the weekends, right? Because it's not developed. It's just a beach. There was toilets, just the minimum you needed, water, and a big water vat for the sheep um, herder, right? And people that had sheep or goats, sorry, close, but it was goats. Yeah, this person's getting a bit. I still have to have words. You see, part of Facebook is people know when you're online. But I shared about this in the previous thing. If you do want to try and contact me, and you can see I'm online and I don't appear to be answering your phone, check out if I'm on live. It's very easy to do. Then you can either patiently sit in and join in, and you can use the comment box. The screen, if it's that urgent. But if you do want to just hang out and have a chat, then you must respect, if you know me, which you're meant to if you're a friend, that that's part of my routine. This is what I do. Someone asked me, it's a common question you get asked, but I've come up with it's a good answer. I'm a retired comedian. Those of you, I've got nearly 25 videos now uploaded on YouTube. Humour is always incorporated into my work. So I can be very serious or be talking about esoteric concepts and teaching, in other words, but then it's always tempered with humour. And this is the way I've been taught, and this is the way it's always been for years. On December drink. This morning it was quite lively, and I gave examples of bringing what's called the cutting word. This could be described as a rebuking, or yes, he's still trying, but I can't. See, it's a bit niggly because he isn't on here. And without me stopping and actually sending him a quick video, I'll do that, okay? Next time this guy tries to speak, be very quick to say, very sorry, I'm actually doing a live video on Facebook. Well, obviously he knows I'm on Facebook. And then he's just got the option to either come in here or wait and be patient and realise another time we can maybe have a chat. So, the cutting word, I shared this instant where I was trying to start a charity called the Theatre of Unemployment. And I got into that topic because a few charities have contacted me, obviously hoping that I might be able to help them that way, but I can't. But this charity outline, excuse my throat, called the Theatre of Unemployment, is and can be a charity. And the idea of this charity will be an alternative promotional agency for all the performing arts. So it would be a means of people who want other charities. It's limited to that. Charities can contact this charity, the Theatre of Unemployment, and they will organise concerts and appearances for people. So enabling them as a means for them to raise funds for their charity. I'll give you an example. Bless him. Right. hypothetically, it will be a resource of information of all artists that are prepared to perform for charity. They can be musicians, they can be actors, all the performing arts, right? Their contact information will be put on this resource, generally their managers, and they can also stipulate what charities they are interested or would be prepared to perform for. Okay, give you an example. Mick Jagger registers and he gives a list of various charities that he's prepared to perform for. And this is very practical because all people, professional musicians, shall we say, of Mick Jagger's ilk, very successful musicians, it's a good tax relief for them to do so much work for charities. That's to encourage them to do it, And so it's in their interest. The theatre of unemployment would be very useful for these people, right? They wouldn't have to contact the charity because we're like the middleman. That's what a promoter does, right? But at the moment, all promotional agencies are very much big money-making concerns, right? But this would be a charity, so it could only really charge or would charge just running costs. People would have to be paid a salary, but there'd be a reasonable salary, not these ridiculous salaries that people get in a commercial promotional agency. It would rather be Band-Aid, but all the time in the year and all over the world, because it could have branches of the theatre of unemployment, Paris, London, New York, everywhere. There might be some laws to do with if a charity's in another country, they have a different whatever. It's like regulation things, but whatever. So basically the potential for this proposed charity is immense. The mantra this is channeled, by the way, for those of you that now understand this, channeling, the spirit inspires you and whatever. And it was a response to prayer. Again, I shared about that we can ask for anything and you will receive. And if your heart's in the right place, you will. I was in tears when I was watching the starving people of Ethiopia, I believe. That's what triggered this. And my request or prayer was, Blessed Father God, what can I do to help? Or even us, what can we do to help? Because it wouldn't have just been me. And that was my response. This whole outline, an idea of setting up this charity, but it's all detailed. And this is when I was living in Leicester. And I took it to a lawyer. And he overlooked it and said, yes, that can be a charity. And so he put his name on the head of the letter, right? So I was the founder, Graham Clark, founder, and his lawyer name and title, Stavers, I think it was, and he was legal advisor. So I then, when I got this outline again, theatre of unemployment, just like I've been doing with the Bosnian water thing, you see, that's my field of service. That's what I've been given. Now I've got to try and give this theatre of unemployment life. Let's make it happen. Well, I actually at this time was on the dole. So I was very poor. Not like in other times in my life. I mean, I've had inheritances and what have you, but very poor. And so I was faced with trying to start this charity, right? And didn't have a phone, didn't have an office, right? And just going to a phone box with loads of 10p's and trying to contact people that were rich, famous, to do with the performing arts, which is generally musicians. And it was what you call a growing curve. And, you learn, as I learned, that all these rich, famous people have like secretaries and people that are there to protect them from people who just want to, speak to them because they're famous. A bit like what's starting out on here, right? People can just lose a bit. I think it's a good thing for excitement, but you're not something that anyone can own, and you need your space, and that we need to appreciate that. So I'm starting to try and start this charity. I am on the dole, and I've got not a lot of excess money. I didn't get a lot on the dole then. But I hadn't got my DLA. That's what you get awarded if you have a disability. And I do actually get DLA now, because I have a diagnosed condition that is very disabling. Well, it was, but manic depression. And I've been sectioned under the Mental Health Act because I've gone into, as medical professions would say, psychosis, hallucinations, right? Seeing the world in a totally different way. And if you go into what's called a paranoid episode, your hallucinations become very fearful, right? So it's solid proof to me we do create our own reality, or we do create how we perceive reality. Anyone who's had a psychotic episode would be able to confirm that to you. Anyone who's taken LSD, powerful psychedelic, will tell you how that, they've had hallucinations. But luckily for most people, they're positive. And you just go on, as it said, like a trip, it's called, but it's an experience. And if you're in the right setting, it can be very life-changing and life-enhancing. But for some people, it can go a bit funny, but it's a very low percentage, I might add. And the other factor with schizophrenia that has been very badly distorted, because a very, very, very small percentage of people that have a psychotic episode can go into paranoia, but that's only because the people around them aren't really responding appropriately as well, and trigger someone off. It's not the same person, you can't see that. So, and I've met people that the media has reported instances where they've actually, unfortunately, killed someone who they didn't know. And of course, when this all goes to court, this all comes out. But because they were hallucinating and they perceived this person as a threat, like a demon, if you like, they didn't see them as the human. In this particular case, it was a very beautiful young lady. And he killed the young lady. And of course, he ended up being contained in a psychiatric facility. But to meet him, you could see he's a lovely man. Obviously, he regretted that. But you can see my talk and what happened. And that this doesn't happen a lot anyway. Very small percentage. And all this stuff about schizophrenics being violent, again, it's just media hype and been blown all out of proportion. Psychotic people, or people who experience psychosis or consciousness shift, right? People who can either expand their consciousness or transfer their consciousness, know what it is to be like a tree or an animal. When you go into shamanism, you see people have power animals, and it's portrayed they can actually become a jaguar, which is one example. That's the South American system of shamanism. Okay? And they can on another level, right? But all these experiences are temporary, and they're done for the person to gain wisdom, knowledge, insight, or whatever, whether it's for healing or what. Hi! See, I've hit, that's lovely. See, when you hit a note, right, like I've just done, I can, that's what it is. It's when you press it a lot, right? I'm getting the thumbs up, right? But then it very, changes to the person. Now, to the person. So I do that, and that's intentional. I know now exactly who it is who is responding to what I've just said. I'm explaining, so-called psychosis, which is a medical term, but in different cultures, it be described something totally different and be seen in the positive light that it should be, right? Shaman are destined, if they're put in the right circumstances, to be very powerful healers, very powerful teachers, and another concept that's used and accepted in the Western world, linked to genius. Not generally how someone who's got schizophrenia is portrayed. They're generally portrayed as idiots. Well, how can they believe this and believe that? Because they've experienced it. So when they come back and maybe try to talk to people about these expanded consciousness experiences, it's just too literally far out for most average people who've never had any expanded consciousness experience. But many, many people have, through taking things like LSD, mescaline, all these various psychedelics can give you an experience which some people will consider a psychosis. But for most people, it's just a trip. It's like, well, I went on this experience, my perception changed, and it's like I'm watching a movie, but it's outside my head. And things are shown to me. I had an experience of the cosmic dance, where everything in fact is in reality isn't solid, and that particles are intermingling with everything else all the time, and that we, i.e. us, solid so-called humans, if we were to look up into the sky, right, we see just little sparks of light, stars, right? That's how we are. There's more space than there is solid particles. And then we get into the whole thing of, and scientists have seen this, that physical phenomena can change under the microscope and is influenced by the observer. So 1 minute it can be a particle, right? And then the next minute, if it's a different observer, it's like a wave. Quantum physics. Now, this is scientifically accepted, and as far as they have conjectured, it is the observer that affects the observed. So we take that same point, and then we go to the other concept, linked with it. We create our own reality. We create how we perceive reality then. It's the same thing. And this can be proved to you. Then, when you've had these sort of experiences, obviously your whole way of looking at other people, whatever, totally is transformed. You have temporarily become. I'm going to answer this guy, but very quick. Okay, so you'll still hear me talk, and you'll still see me because the camera's still on. But I'll just quickly see what. Hi, I'm very busy. I'm actually doing a live video talk. So if you wanted to see me, I am on Facebook Live. Okay, bye for now. Now I've done it. Now hopefully that should be enough. I could say something else. Oh, he's calling back. Obviously doesn't understand English too well. I mean, I did, sign language, busy, can't really talk to you now. But it just didn't get through, live Facebook. I could say something else. I ain't gay, go elsewhere. Just give it a bit of thought, because I've had this situation. Someone contacts me, you don't know who that is anyway, so I'm not breaking anything. Yeah, he's back, but I haven't said his name. And all he's trying to use you for is for his own sexual gratification. And to really make that clear, because you don't know who he is, and it's all right, he wants to masturbate while watching you, similar to getting a pornographic magazine and just get off on the photograph. Okay, the person may have, I mean, an attraction to me. And this is what I shared the other day, because you see it in reverse. I mean, we've done this with pornographic magazines with women, right? That's what we did. All as young men, we'd either link into now, I'm going to decline pornographic things online, which wasn't so common then, or you get some magazines with semi-clad women photographed in a definite posture of, in a sense, offering you sex. Okay, whatever. But when you have a man doing it to you and you are heterosexual, I have the reaction which obviously a lot of women have to pornography. Yeah, he's come back. And that's not on. Now I said, no way is it on. Excuse me, you're using me. Because that's it. They don't want to talk to you. They can't. But they feel because they're attracted to you. You go, the women thing. It's an open license. Well, it's not. Right? I ain't gay, go elsewhere. And like the feminist movement has said as well, I'm not a sexual object. How can I say this? You could say, well, fuck off, literally, right? Now, of course, a lot of men didn't like this, and I didn't. Feminist movement and that, and maybe that it was gone over the top. But I can see or relate to now how a lot of women do get angry about pornographic literature, and rightly so. So I went off on this because, in the sense, when I was moving in this ministry, I did put up a thought, which I can do. What's the way around this, or is there? Artificial insemination came through, right? So that means, if you know anything about this, obviously you'd be checked out. You're seen that you haven't got any nasty illnesses. They can do tests, right? But it's a brilliant, healthy way for men to get out their sexual desires. Because believe it or not, if you go through the process, you get paid as well, right? But if you're lucky to have very good genes, there's lots of women who want to have children and their partner can't. Well, you're doing a very good service. And what would happen is, guess what? You're put in a booth and given a pornographic magazine to obviously get you aroused. You then masturbate, or the phantom wank, and your semen is collected and you are paid for it. And it does a very positive, good thing on both sides. You get out your sexual frustration because for whatever reason, okay, you're not in a relationship, whatever, but you're doing a service and you're getting paid. Obviously, it's not going to be applicable for a lot of people, but it's worth looking into. I won't. But yes, you know, I've shared in the other video. Well, I get, because I'm not doing anything, am I? I don't give out any signals that I'm looking for a man. I'm talking about pyramids and healing and planetary healing, right? And they're gay. See? I can actually see that. It's a photograph, his icon of two men caressing. Now, I've got to watch this because obviously I am not anti-gay. But for me, if people are contacting me, yeah, that's fair enough, and are just contacting me, they're not interested in me, you get me, they don't talk. They just look at you and they've got no clothes on and slowly the cameras talk down to their penis. Or they even send you a photograph of that erect penis. They're not into communicating. They're not even into making a relationship with a man. Maybe some are, but it is just, they've learned this is a good way to release their sexual frustration. Okay? Bit better than buying a magazine, it's free, but I think that's an abuse of me. And I do just stop it, and I do block them. Anyway, some of you might be able to relate to that, even the lovely women that are on there. Well, it's in reverse, but the same analogy. People just using you as a fantasy sexual object. Don't want to talk to you. They're not into, relationship. I don't digress, but I should have. Right, what was I waffling on about? But you see, it's happened, so I've got to. Shamanism, psychosis, and how there is slowly a change going into how people understand what a psychotic episode is. Very world leaders in this field have introduced totally new concepts into the psychiatric field, right? And know what is happening and know how to contain someone who perhaps has gone into a psychosis or, well, there you go, there's me. I have healed people and released people from psychosis. This was, and why? Because I'm I've got the empathy, been there, right? But with the power of prayer. And I've given these two examples, which were miracles, right? One woman, Findon Foundation, I explained, was into a psychosis incorporating that she was being an elf. Now, how much of that was her acting out, or what, we can't analyse it, but she certainly was. But then it ended up on a positive note by her coming back. We walked all round the tip of the foundation, right? It's like a point. And she was about to be excluded or removed from the foundation because she was there with her bags. And the scenario was that a boyfriend or a man that had whatever adopted her was trying to convince the foundation members to let her go with him. And this is where people perhaps like Lauren come in, because these are the people I saw the next day. And I could see the light on. This is about 3 a.m, right? But the spirit moved me clearly to get up and go in the middle of the night, let's say, and there she was. And it was obvious to me, because obviously my guides and that said, yeah, that's it. This is why, this is the situation we want you to look after or deal with or help. Same guys, right? I'm going to decline. And we went for a walk, and it was purely by prayer. Water was involved a little bit because we walked along the low tide beach. And she's a very beautiful woman, and the psychosis was ended. I told her she'd been Christed. I've never shared that. That's what probably happened and did happen. She shared with all the people that she was doing this group experience with, and of course they were all affected by this. This beautiful woman friend, and then she seems to have gone insane. That she was the Christ. I obviously gained her trust for her to, she every now and then, but towards the end was saying, you're not part of the foundation, are you? But I could luckily say that. And there's obviously a reason why I've shared that. Being a shaman, you can't belong to anything really, because it will narrow your point of view. So I assured her I wasn't. Whatever. And then she said, in her own way, that, I think I'm Christ and I know the same as Christ. And I explained to her, as I've been through the similar experience, I said, no, you've been Christed. So you're equivalent to Christ, because there's all these other concepts that ties in with the cosmic Christ. See, this term, the Christ, can be interpreted in many different levels or ways. There is a teacher, Jesus, who became Christed, and that happened when he was baptized, and the dove, it's symbolic, descended upon him. Symbolic, right? And we're also enjoined anyway, quote, greater things than me will you do in my name, right? Many people have become Christed. They might not even use that definition. Enlightened, exactly the same thing. A satiric experience in Zen Buddhism. So they have this mind-opening experience. It's unique for each person, but generally the similarities are they saw that they were one with everything. And you can have that visually, but like I shared earlier, that you actually see, you can hold your hands up and there are particles zinging across. And it's defined or called the cosmic energy dance. Because we are part of the cosmos. And you can physically see that. Of course, you can't function on that level all the time. Right? And she saw that as well, because she went the opposite. She went into elf. Why? Because she said she was Christ and they didn't accept that. People didn't. So to probably get back, see, we're analysing it, but anyway, because of course the foundation believes in elves and all this and whatever. So she's got them in a catch-22, really. I'm an elf. I mean, that's how she talked. I'm an elf. That's how she introduced herself to me. Hello, I'm an elf. And I thought, okay, and put prayer up. Not outwardly, does, is it? Not praying out this time, because that would be probably freak her more, freak her out more. But it was, blessed Father God, whoa, please inspire me. Blessed guides and helpers, please inspire me. Blessed Holy Spirit, please inspire me. Whoever or whatever. Blessed Mother Mary, please inspire me. We've gone over this and I think all these beings can be thousands, if not millions of places simultaneously. So Mother Mary can come to thousands, who knows, people at the same time, but in different places. It's all this is described in the Bhagavad Gita. It's called an expansion, as Krishna did this. And Hindu people will know this. There's various stories in the Bible. Okay, Freudian slip. Various stories in the Bhagavad Gita that describe this. You can read about the many, many incarnations that Krishna has had, but in other life forms. So it wasn't just a human Krishna. Many different expansions or versions of Krishna have incarnated in the past, but we're talking, many years, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But that is the significance of a spiritual being. No longer contained, entrapped by a physical body. So all the limitations we have through being in a physical body, you've got to feed it and got to give it sex, right? Are no longer applicable to someone who is a spiritual, realized being. We touched into this concept called the rainbow body, where highly evolved monks in Tibet have demonstrated this experience or capability by doing that. But some of them have passed on, but the body has been totally transmuted and transformed. And these are the sort of cases where they've been not so much mummified, but buried, and the body doesn't deteriorate as quickly as it should do. Very famous spiritual teacher. This is into science, and it was monitored, and his body didn't start to actually deteriorate, break down, call it what you will, for months, if not weeks, demonstrating that his body, body, had been transmuted and transformed, purified. So it is possible to transcend sexual desire, but you would know when that happens because you no longer have sexual. So there's nothing to feel guilty about. Of course it isn't. But I seriously feel that this needs to be looked at. And that, it doesn't really. I mean, if you happen to be someone who's single, do have a bit of a problem with sex, i.e. you can't get it fulfilled as much as you would like, then that's an avenue to look into, and it's a brilliant thing to do. Many women want children, and whether their partners are infertile or whatever, and the science is available. If you happen to be someone that has a certain diagnosis, manic depression, schizophrenia, but okay, there's a lot of negative about schizophrenia. it could be demonstrated that you are someone who's functioning with 30, 40, even 50 or 60% of your mind just by a scan. Whereas the average person of humanity is roughly, it's gone the air, roughly using 5% of their brain. So you potentially are, and can be demonstrated through a simple brain scan, a genius. Now, I'm probably talking myself into something here. I was told this once, actually. Not so much I was a genius, but it was a bit off the wall. But I was starting this charity, and yeah, Black Unicorn. And this guy contacted me and said, do you know what Black Unicorn was or is? It's got various definitions, actually, but anyway. Oh, that's a name for an ancient Tai Chi spiritual master who was accredited with being one of the greatest martial arts experts there was or could be. And that might have just been, it was a coincidence. I'm certainly not, well, who knows what we've done in a previous life. I mean, you get into this. But he seriously propositioned me and said, oh, I know many women that would pay a lot of money to have some of your semen. And he was obviously suggesting he'd be my agent and would sell it because he was obviously involved in this martial arts system and knew all about it. I didn't, but I'm 65. I haven't had many children. Could have myself checked out on the, you fire duds, whether my semen is still potentially active. And most certainly, I would do that. Nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed. Yeah, great. And it's all done confidential. But the companies that do it would check you out. Make sure you've got no harmful DNA defects or whatever. And for you only 1 in 100. So this is for you other manic depressives who, through the ignorance of society, have been cast aside, put on the dole, put on benefits, been put on disability living allowance, right? And told clearly you can't work. See, all this is projected onto you, right? Right from the early age, the old joke, oh, don't worry about that, meaning life, because I literally went to this doctor after I've been discharged. And it's like, where do I go from here? It's very shocking when you have your first psychotic episodes. You've got a whole learning curve to go through then. You've got to go through the psychiatric version. Then you look into other things because that doesn't gravitate for you. And eventually, if you're lucky, will come to someone that is aware of what it can and possibly is. And then you slowly wean yourself off your drugs, which I had to do. Because again, it's psychosomatic. Yeah, just take these and you'll be all right. Antipsychotic, nasty drug medication, right? And then you slowly wean yourself. I don't take any antipsychotic medication. That's a Freudian slip. Medication for many years. That's all well documented. I went on to lithium carbonate, and within days, again, probably to do with my sensitivity, my body reacted and my waterworks went ridiculous. I had to urinate nearly every half. It's ridiculous, right? You think it's assault, but my body just, doing any of that, thank you. Then I went on to carbamazepine. And those of you that are educated will know that, it's a recommended medication for such a person, but got some nasty side effects, as in fact, so has lithium carbonate. Very toxic, nasty stuff, damages the kidney, certain schools of thought, so he shouldn't be on it. Or maybe I'll be accused now of, how can I word that? So I've been pulled up. Certain people who are put on lithium carbonate, their doctors will take them off lithium carbonate after 5 years and will possibly put them onto carbamazepine. And there's probably a few other drugs now that are used that have been developed, right? It is over an hour. I thank those that have come. It's not so many, but it's just the timing. I mean, this is tea time here, and I am getting hungry. My email address is gamper77@gmail.com. Anyone who's, yeah, that's nice bit of feedback. Yeah, love you. Yeah, nice. One, yeah, I'm just checking. Chemicals, Joan Lesafai, GM foods, yeah, fluoride, chloride. She's listed the whole thing. Well, the answer to that, right? You've just listed chemicals, drone, blah, 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 blah. Get yourself a pyramid. Why? The Russians have clearly demonstrated that they have an amazing purification or neutralization of anything harmful. I do put the few drugs I take because of my diabetes are under my pyramid. So they're neutralized if there's anything harmful just by the Earth's energy. I say just, but it's the Earth's energy. Subconscious equals super. Well, it can do. Subconscious, superconscious. It's another, just a label of meaning many different layers to our mind. Stay calm and centered. Yeah, don't lose you with the awareness of others. Probably not quite. Yeah. That's just sometimes I'm just going over because I'm just about to round it up. Yeah, hi. Ah, that's you. Ha 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 ha. Who was, because you got a lovely little icon and it says a young girl. Yeah, I'm looking at you now. And you've obviously enjoyed this. Yeah, you just said hello. I can say Rahul Aha, but it's probably not the correct way to pronounce your name. So go down here. Murbaba, see that's the fun. It looks like he's Turkish. The writing, you know what I mean? It's not English. Yes, Swami Vitreg, and that's it. So I've done, just double check, I've done all the list. Checked if there is, as I've been telling people, if you've got something, you can just put it in the comment box. And I will ignore what I'm doing now, I will acknowledge it and whatever. And yeah, that's the top. So goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him, which is a way that some very famous comedians used to end their show. Although there was two of them, I think it was that one of them was jokingly using humor, talking about the higher self. It's like there's two of them. Oh, it's goodbye from me. Oh, and it's goodbye from him. See what he just look up. Bless his heart. So goodbye for now.